everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to talk about the new future Trunks leader that comes out of BT16. He's a pretty interesting leader, and honestly he just has like a little kind of mini archetype that goes with him, and then he has a lot of room and a lot of flexibility for all the kind of generic yellow cards that exist right now. And he is a yellow sand leader, which will make sense on why that's important a little bit, but he has just so many tools that he has for him, and his little kit is pretty good as well. And so I think he is a pretty good contender on one of the better decks coming out of BT16 immediately. And he just has a lot of cool tricks. And he's really, honestly, just really obnoxious to play against if you play it right. So real quick, this list is going to be in the description. We're going to talk about it as well. Also, the side deck has more of just a lot of cards to consider as well as the main deck cards. I'm still kind of fleshing this list out. And I think there are different ways to play it, but this is, I would say, like the safest build of it that kind of exists right now. These trusted allies are probably like the weirdest part of this, but the rest are just, it looks like it's a higher dragon list in a lot of ways. And I think that's kind of what's going to be happening with this leader. We don't know what sets, the ban list coming out for set 16 is going to be, and if yellow is going to be hit a lot, but I do somewhat expect higher dragon is going to have something happen to it and maybe some support. I do think Poutine's going to get hit as well, which is why it's just a consideration. Over here, I think it maybe be in the main. I think this new Trunks does enough by itself anyways, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So this leader, auto when this card attacks, you get to draw one, and then active main if you have 2 or more energy and you choose one yellow Vegeta card in your battle area and place it underneath it. You can flip this card over, and if you do, you draw 1 and add cards to your life until you have 6 life left. And then on the backside, auto when this card attacks, you may draw 1 card. If you don't, choose 1 yellow Vegeta, 1 yellow future Trunks future, or 1 yellow Bulma future card with any cost of 1 in your hand or drop area and play it in rest mode, which pretty much means either of these dudes. So it's already, both these guys pretty much generate value on their own, so it's great. And then also auto once per turn, when a yellow battle card activates an EX Evolve, get to draw 1, and then also active battle once per turn, place 1 card from underneath this card to its owner's drop area. This card gains plus 10k power and double strike for the duration of the battle. So this is kind of a lot like a mini Surge Coup leader in a lot of ways, which is really, really cool. It is just a mono yellow leader, and it's not technically Surge, but when you do put that Vegeta underneath it for the active main way to awaken this guy, you do have this one time where you can get this extra 10k boost. You can also get double strike, which on a leader is probably one of the best places to put it. Leaders are pretty tough at being able to not be popped or anything else like that. So I think this is very strong for what it is and very easy to kind of go with it. So the kind of archetype around it itself kind of goes with these father-son teamworks. They're more or less the same thing, but just they're 1-drop barriers with auto. Your leader card is yellow. Trunks future card, when this card is played, you either get to draw 1, or you can play up to 1 Vegeta father-son teamwork from your deck or drop here with the Stallin's keyword skills negated for the turn. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So immediately, if you have this card in your drop area, you can use it on your awakened side to swing in. You can play it. You get the draw 1 anyways. So like, why would you not get a free battle card out for already getting the draw? But the better part, most of the time, is also getting this Vegeta, which is also from deck or drop area. So being able to just continually cycle these from the drop area gains a lot of value very quickly. Also offers some deck thinning for you as well if you want to get them out of the deck, which I really encourage you guys to do. The same thing here, just gets the father-son at Teamwork Trunks instead. And so immediately too, that means that turn 1, you can just play a Trunks father-son, play it, you get the Vegeta, and then you got 2 1-drop yellow dudes with barrier on the board, and then as long as your opponent doesn't have a way to get rid of that, which are pretty rare right now, you can just get the Vegeta underneath it, awaken early, and get the benefits from there. And then we do have like the 3-drop EX Evolve, so we have the Super Saiyan 2 Trunks feature on the line. So barrier blocker, already great. EX Evolve for 1 yellow, so you get to draw 1 on top of a yellow Trunks feature, energy cost of 1, which means that you get 2 draws with the leader and itself if it's the first one of your turn. And this switches to active mode when you play it with EX Evolve, which means that even though sometimes you play them at rest with your leader card, it doesn't matter as long as you EX Evolve them, which you should be doing all the time anyways. And then auto once per turn, if your leader card is a yellow Trunks feature card, when your opponent plays a battle card or unison card, choose it and switch it to rest mode. This is pretty much a Poutine effect in itself, but it's a 19k barrier blocker. It's also a archetype kind of card. It's searchable, it's playable, it's just fantastic for everything. Like, this is a very obnoxious card to deal with. It is the first card that's played every turn, so if your opponent can play around it with like Overwhelm or something to get their big boy out, they can, but they do have to play around this guy and they have to respect this guy, which is good for, like, it means that, you know, already you have a kind of a strong deck around it. We also do have the Vegeta, which is not as, the Trunks is better. All right, but this one's okay at what it does too. Same thing, EX Evolve for a Vegeta with a cost of 1, you get to draw 2 cards, with one with the EX Evolve and one with the leader effect, as well as the first one. And you normally aren't EX Evolving more than once or sometimes twice a turn, but you don't continually do it. So, but you also get to switch to active mode, and once per turn when this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it, which this is just fantastic at popping cards, and I think this is just good at what it does too. So all of this is good. You know, 20Ks for 1 energy is good, because you can even just play it for free off your leader. Swing in, play a Vegeta Father-Son Teamwork from your drop area for free. You get to draw 1 if you want to use that effect, or you can do the play at Trunks, and then you can EX Evolve, draw 2 cards, and you just get a lot of cycle for one energy, really. So that's kind of the idea of it. Kind of like the same thing with kind of how Higher Dragon worked. You get a lot of value for playing, you know, your 1-drop Higher Dragons and your monster skillless cards, and then by using that, you're just getting a lot of card advantage, and you can kind of use that with kind of all the good effects that yellow have to kind of carry your game. Other than that, we don't have anything too crazy. We do also have the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Super Saiyan Trunks Father-Son Bonds. This card's good, not great. It is a somewhat finisher, but it's not a finisher by itself. It does have critical, active main for 2 yellow. If you have 3 or more energy and you choose 1 yellow Vegeta and 1 yellow Trunks feature card in your battle area, play this card from your hand and place the chosen cards underneath this card, which also means that if they do have cards underneath them, they go with them, which I didn't know at first, so that's a little tip for you to be smarter than me. But active battle, limit 1, place 2 cards from this card to the owner's drop here, draw 1, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, KO them, and this gains triple strike for the battle. So this can be kind of good at not only pressuring your opponent, but the active battle can be on both players' turn. And if you did play, you know, a Vegeta and a Trunks and you put them both underneath this guy, that means you get 2 procs of this, 1 in your turn and 1 in your opponent's turn, as long as you get this active battle trigger. So being able to pop cards, being able to cycle cards is good. This doesn't have any protection, and I think if it did, it'd be busted anyway, so I think it's fine. It's just a big 35. I mean, it's a 35k crit that you can play for 2 that you can easily make into, like, it's a triple strike if you get into the battle. So I think that's fine. If this did have like deflect or barrier, we'd be in trouble. And if you do have if you do try to bounce it back to hand on deflect timing, I think you keep the battle cards anyway, so it's not like a big neg for that anyways. But this is I think this is a very, very good card. And worst case, this can be fantastic for just destroying Unisons, which I think is going to be the main case of why you would use this guy. But I like him for what he does. You know, he just puts pressure on your opponent for 2, and that's not too bad. I think everything else are more just generic good yellow cards. Bergamo is a must, just because, like with the Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, you get that for free every turn, and with the free Rasting, you can play this as well. We do have the Son Goku Steadfast Assistance and Mecha Frieza, because we are playing enough extra cards to be able to take advantage of both these guys. We only have Vegeta Final Flash in here at 4 of, and I think we want to do a split between this or the new kind of Black Kamehameha that isn't in the deck builder right now, but I think you want to have at least 2, if not 3 of these guys. Another card I was thinking about too is the Tyrannical Blow, just because there are just so many cards that are like counterattacks. Like, for example, if you're playing in the mirror and they're playing a Mecha Frieza, you can Tyrannical Blow it. So if your lead card's yellow, if the battle card being played has energy cost 3 or less, is played with the skills negated for the turn, then you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and use some cards and negate skilled for the turn. So the Mecha Frieza only gets its, you know, stunning effect when you get the auto off. So being able to just, you know, do this in response for them for doing this, and there's a lot of other cards that Tyrannical Blow could work against as well, means that I think this is a that could be definitely a good idea for running for this. I mean, we do have 2 coolers, and I think 2 is the right number. You definitely want to see this guy, and he just can win you the game. I think we're kind of back to a point where counters are in a very good spot. If you can get one of these to resolve, you've probably won the game, and I've done that a lot with this deck specifically, especially because this leader can give itself double strike, which is not very common for leaders. Normally you need a Champa for this, but being able to make your leader double strike without having to spend any energy is such a boon for this list. So honestly, you just have to get to turn 4, and then you can just swing in. They try to negate the attack, you cooler it, and then you have to just scoop it up from there most of the time. So that feels very good, and I think it's a good plan for what you're doing. Other than that, I think everything else is pretty standard. I chose Pan as our secret rare just because we play a lot of dudes, and it can be a big 40k swing. And I just kind of prefer it to Kai at the moment just because it can be free. And we kind of do have a lot of kind of energy sinks in this list. We don't have a lot of untap for what we do. And I think it's a strong idea for where we're going. Turtles also is a great card. You pay it for 2, you can pop things, you can draw things. It's just a double strike 20k. This is way too much for 2 energy for what it is. And it's a free combo because it's a 5k. I think that's very, very, very good. And we know Power Super Saiyan's a busted card too. Some more janky cards. These are more just my personal touches to them. So these are the Trusted Ally cards from BT13. So you can play this for 1 yellow if you have a Trunks feature card with any cost of 3 or more in play, which means if you have this guy, once you get this guy out, you probably keep it out for the rest of the game. But this is a critical, and this can just pop something outright, which is great. And then also this Goku can restand your blocker as well. With 3 or less in rest mode, switch active mode. So either of these cards are good. I'm not sure one's better. I mean, obviously having crit is nice in what it does, but I think that is good. We also do have this Son Goku, the hero returns. My chat reached out to me on this one. So it's kind of like a mix of the both. For one, it's free, which is great. So if you have a yellow Trunks feature card with any cost 3 or more in play this card and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. And then when this card is played, choose this card and up to one of your opponent's battle cards, any cost of 3 or less. Send them to the owner's warp. At the end of the turn, to get the skills of all cards sent to the warps by the skill for the turn and play them with in their owner's battle area. So this can kind of just be a free way to pop something that your opponent's spending like way too much time and energy on. For example, like the 2-drop Beerus, the blue-yellow one, if they're trying to swing in to pop one of your dudes, you can just do this for free and kind of go from there. And there's also, it's not on the deck builder yet either, but there's the Super Saiyan Blue Goku feature on the line. So this is an EX Evolve, which means you get your card draw off your leader. And dual attack, so 20k dual attack for 2 is not too bad. And you get to draw a card. You don't get to draw the card from the EX Evolve from his own skill, but I think he is kind of good. And also when this card is playing using EX Evolve, you can switch to active mode. And then also auto once return Spirit Boost. This card gains, when this card attacks, draw 1, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards and rest mode and KO it. So I would say it's honestly, for what it is, the Vegeta's probably a little bit better just because you get the better draw. You only get 1 swing with this dude, but you get like the guaranteed pop, especially with thing ignoring barrier, which is kind of nice. But if we do have some Unisons we want to play if we want to. I think it was kind of tight in this list specifically. So if we find some room in the mix a little bit because of cards getting banned or something, I could see it. I also say this card is a 3-drop Son Goku as well. So this card and this guy are both cards that meet the requirements for it. So that could have some potential for you. Vegeta Unison of Fury is already just an obnoxious card too. Being able to, you can switch your 1-drops to rest mode that you're already going to get back. Like even if you just play like Vegeta Unison of Fury, you switch like a Son Goku Steadfast Assistance you played last turn to rest mode, and then you can just EX Evolve into the big boy. I think all that can be potentially good. I'm not sure if it's too clunky or... I think the biggest thing is that we do have a lot of like nice 1 energy plays, but we need that energy open enough to be able to make those plays. And so you're kind of restricted on what your energy can do some of the time. So sometimes paying 2 or even 3 for Unison just feels expensive. But I think there are some good choices for it. I don't think this Mai is good, though. I feel like it just dies immediately, but I could be wrong on that one. I mean, you're able to cycle some cards, cool, and you're able to add markers whenever you EX Evolve, but I don't think that's fantastic. Maybe like, okay, so turn 2, you play this, and then you go into your Trunks, and then you kind of have something, but I don't know. I don't feel that's good enough. Vegeta Unison of Fury is kind of good, but then you got to do it on turn 3. Because turn 2 you don't have enough energy because you always want to do turn 2 is almost always awaken, and then you go into your future on the line on top of your Trunks, and then you go from there. That's normally where you want to be turn 1. That is the best play most of the time. You have 1 energy open, so if you have enough extra cards, which you should, you can use a Mecha Frieza, you can use a Son Goku, or you can even do like some crazy things with your extra cards, something like that, and you can kind of go from there. But I don't feel like we can kind of do that for what we have. But I don't know. Maybe having this Mai is good for what you're doing because it's just a cheap unison, and then you can kind of go through your cards and you do EX evolves to add markers to it. Maybe that's good. Unison of Fury is probably the safer bet, though it is a little expensive sometimes. But being able to rest things that you're going to be able to switch to active mode again is good. We also have the Aandroidd 20 and Dr. Mew. So whenever you activate an evolve skill, which as far as I know, EX evolve is a subset of evolve. If that's not the case, let me know. But I'm 99% sure it's fine. But you also get to KO cards in rest mode whenever you use Spirit Boost with this guy, so that's maybe good. And you get this, you pretty much get the same thing as the Mai for here, so maybe that's good. It's kind of like the mix of like the Mai and the Piccolo. Piccolo can be good because you activate a lot of blocker skills and you can get your cards to switch back to active mode. I really want to get this Piccolo to work, so I don't know. I'm partial to him. And I think that's really it. We also do have this new secret rare that's yellow. He could be good if we're running enough unisons. If you want him to be your secret rare, go for it. He can end the game pretty much all by himself because he is a big, 40k dual attack, double strike? That will probably get the job done for what you're doing. And the only other thing is we don't have a lot of overrun. We only have 2 secret identity masks saying it. We can run SS4 if we want. The only thing is that we kind of depend on our 1-drops being inner drop area to get the cycle from them. So I think that you got to be careful when you overrun. You got to be really, you have to do it at the right time. Pretty much like the end of the game. So I don't know if secret identity is the right choice because we do have like a lot of removal of cards. Like, but obviously a wide removal like him is kind of good. And then we do have, we can run Lord Slug too. I think you have to choose where you're getting these cards from for this. You can only run so many mini packages before it becomes a big deck. So I think Lord Slug is a strong deck for what you're doing, especially since you do have these barrier blockers, and it's very hard to eat. It's very easy to get his Bond 2 active. So I think that's it. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think about this deck. I think honestly this is probably one of the strongest decks, and if High Dragon does get hit, I think a lot of people are just going to switch to this guy. It has a lot of things in common with the deck and a lot of the same synergies, just with some some slightly different cards and kind of different plays, but the play style is pretty much the same from there. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it.